Today's sponsor, App Gallery. App Gallery is a similar app to Google Play Store. However, it offers much more. App Gallery allows you to purchase in-game material and get 10% back for your purchase. The 10% back, you accumulate Huawei points, allowing you to then get discounts on further purchases in-game at your leisure. And these are the simple steps to get an App Gallery. Simply Google App Gallery. Hit App Gallery. Go to download App Gallery in the tab at the top. Hit download. This will create it on your phone. You'll then see it. Click App Gallery. You then need to go in and you need to then create a ID for your account, which will be created in the Huawei IDs part, and then make sure you add a payment method to go along with that. It will also ask to add your country of origins. This promotion only works for the UK or Ireland, so please do add UK or Ireland. This will be very key, otherwise the promotion will not work, i.e. the 10%. Then you need to go and find the game. So once you've done that, you find the game and you download the game as shown behind. You then download the game and then you connect the game to using your Scopely ID. Once you've done that, you log into the game and then you head over to the sale. Not only do they offer cheaper cacks in general, but then obviously at the end of it, you then get your 10% Huawei points. And then you can then just rinse and repeat this method to get as many points as you desire or many packs as you desire. Hello and welcome back from me, Admiral. Thank you to the sponsor, which is App Gallery. Hopefully you are enjoying the discounted stuff over there on that store. Once again, thank you to them for sponsoring the channel for Star Trek Fleet Command. So moving into today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about the solo armadas and what crews to use on what specific types of ships that you can maybe utilize with the crews as well. The ones I'm going to talk about are very basic crews, shouldn't be too difficult now to get hold of overall, or you might already have them, obviously. And we're going to talk a little bit about what you should do within the solo armadas. This has only come from the back of the last video I made, and basically in that video I gave a few suggestions for the crews. However, I didn't put the crews in the correct ships or the correct layout of ships. Therefore, a lot of people sort of were left a little bit confused and a little bit sort of saying you should have put them in the right ships, so that people coming to the channel for maybe the first time trying to find out a little bit of information, it might have been a bit more useful to them as individuals. But so here we are. I'm going to correct that mistake that I made by not putting them in the correct ships and cruise layout, and we're going to do that now. So we're going to start with your... I'm going to specifically talk about the level 34 ships at the moment. I know new players, you don't have this. However, you might have explorers, battleships, or interceptors of different variety. So they may still play a part with the crews, depending on obviously what I'm sort of suggesting. So I'm going to talk about the Enterprise, but this can go pretty much with most of your other explorer style ships. And I personally would run, if I'm honest, a morale-esque style sort of crew, you know, just to basically live as long as possible. And that's why we've gone with this crew. We've gone with the extra weaponry of obviously, is it 5? What's the name? 5 of 11. Now, I keep saying 5 of 10 because that's what it used to be, but it's now 5 of 11. Okay, so I've gone with her because of her extra shield deflection, armor, and dodge by 200%, which is obviously incredibly useful. And then sort of ignore the bottom crew, but this is actually not a bad one to go off, if I'm perfectly honest. And then we've gone with obviously Kirk because he allows us to get the 75% chance to inspire morale to the ship, and that is key for this specific ship, but it can be key for the morale setup as well. And then we've gone for Bones in this lineup. It doesn't have to be this, or it doesn't have to be Bones, but we've gone for this lineup, and that's due to this extra defense bonus that the officers get on obviously the bridge. The reason the Enterprise is quite a good one to pair this with is because obviously the ship's ability gets triggered with morale, which is obviously relating to the shields. This also works on any of the other explorers. All you need to do is replace 5 of 11 with Spock, put Kirk as the captain. That's what I would personally do. And then all three of these officers will tie in perfectly with each other. So if you do that, for example, and then you put Kirk in there for like that, that'll work for any of your explorers in the game. And this will be an incredibly powerful morale setup. However, we don't need to do that with this ship due to the nature of the ship itself and the special ability of the Enterprise. With the heal, obviously, the shields by 12% whenever it gets hit, which is obviously pretty massive. Moving on. So that's the Explorers done. We got battleships next. Again, I'm going to show this with the Augur. But again, it can be on pretty much any battleship. Romulan related. But you can use this on any battleship. It ties in well with this battleship. Again, only because of this ability. So as long as the opponent's ship is burning, if the opponent is hit with the obliterator weapon, the Augur increases its weapon damage by 108%, for example, which is cumulative. So that's why it triggers with this ship pretty damn nicely. The other ships prior to this, the other battleships before this, it doesn't trigger obviously as nicely because the ship doesn't tie in with the crews that are in it. But you can still use this crew as a burning crew on a battleship. That is not a problem whatsoever. So yeah, the reason I've gone for this layout again, so we click in here. So we've gone with Kumak. He's going to go for, at the beginning of each round, Kumak increases the stats of all the officers on the ship by 10%, which is always a good thing. Again, ignore the underneath crew. We've gone with Giorgio second as an officer ability because we don't need her as a captain for this. So at the beginning of each round, Giorgio has a 50% chance of burning the opponent's ship for 2 rounds. This also ties into, obviously, the Armadas as well. So don't just ignore the ship part. It does work on the Armadas, and I have tried this. And then we've gone for Vemit. So as long as, obviously, the ship, or Armada in this case, is burning, Vemit decreases the shield health by the amount equal to 750% of the health of all officers on the ship, which is why it ties in quite well. This is actually a crew layout that was given to me. I haven't actually personally tried this crew layout on the Armada. So if anyone has tried it, please let me know in the comments down below how well it actually works or not, as I don't have enough credits at the moment to run another solo Armada right this second. But yeah, so this is a crew that's been given to me that I don't see why it wouldn't work, and I don't see why there would be anything wrong with this crew. Obviously, if you don't have Giorgio, you can obviously replace her with Nero. Just put Nero in. Nero has the same abilities. The only difference is Nero's ability is the opponent. So every time the ship strikes the opponent with a weapon attack, Nero has a 35% chance of burning for 2 rounds. So it's just not as powerful as Giorgio. So if you can, try and put Giorgio in. But Nero still works, and you do get the synergy bonus as well. So bear that in mind. That is obviously the basic burning crew. Moving on. So that's battleships covered with burning. So explorers morale, battleships for burning. And as you all know, we're coming to interceptors. I'm going to do this on the D4, but again, this pretty much goes for all interceptor style of ships, or any ship that have kinetic weapons on board them, because they hit incredibly hard. So yeah, we've gone for a very basic layout again, because I want to put these crews out there that anybody could potentially get hold of them pretty quickly. And to be honest, these are all crews that you can get relatively fast in the game, from starting as a sort of new person in the game to getting up to your level 20s, 30s sort of thing. You will accumulate these crews quite quickly. So we've gone for Gorkon. Gorkon, so we increases the chance of dealing a critical hit. So if you obviously have a critical hit on a ship, you're going to deal more damage. So this is going to be useful for that. It only lasts for 2 rounds though. That's a negative of this sort of his ability. But it's the secondary ability mainly that we're going to trigger into here, which is when the ship hits the opponent with a critical hit, Gorkon has a 75% chance of causing a hull breach for the 3 rounds on the opponent's ship. And that is why we've paired him directly with Khan. If you don't have Khan, you can obviously just use someone else that can fit in this sort of layout. But if you have Khan, I would definitely advise putting him here. It doesn't have to be the highest of level, because even getting that 1% cumulative is definitely going to help. So every time the ship is hit by a ship or defense platform weapon attack, Khan increases the critical hit chance by -3%, but it will go from 1 to so on and so on. And it's cumulative, so you will get them critical hits. The chance of them a lot more frequent than you would before. That's why I would put this or him paired with them quite nicely. And then we've gone for Cough, simply because his hull breach. So as long as the opponent's ship has a hull breach, Cough increases the damage dealt by kinetic weapons by 20%. So again, as long as hull breach is triggered, and as long as there's kinetic weapons on board the ship, which this ship has 2 of them, I believe. So these top 2 here, this ship has them 2, for example. Then you're going to get a 20% extra yield in your attack, which is going to be obviously beneficial for you. So they're the crews I would run. Again, you could use this for the Saladin. You could use this probably for most other interceptors, providing they have kinetic weapons. Probably even the Vidar as well, since that's only a level 25 ship, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think it's a level 25 ship. But yeah, so I thought I'd release this video to help you all out. Hopefully it has been useful. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you want to. It's completely your choice. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Have fun and fly safe. Bye-bye for now.